Welcome into the Wiltfong Whiparound with Steve Wiltfong. We are live. Today is Monday, November 24th, and I am your host, Josh Newberg. We have made it to the final weekend of the season. I don't know if that's a good thing. Normally when you make it to the final week of something, it's good, but this doesn't feel good. I wish there was 10 more weeks of college football, but it is the final week. It is also the final week of recruiting before the signing period begins on December 3rd. So we're going to get into it. We are entering a prime stretch on the recruiting trail. A lot of new developments to tackle in this episode of the Whip Around. And nobody is more plugged in at this time of year. He's probably on his phone right now texting with sources than Steve Wiltfong. So we're going to break it all down with him. But first, guys, do me a favor. Do me a favor and just look. Look at that. 100K. We did it. How about that? If you guys are already subscribed, I thank you very much. We got to 100K, but let's get to 200K. Hit subscribe to the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. Also, join Rivals today. Get 1 full year of access to The Athletic, plus all the On3 and fan site content as well. All right, let's bring in the great Steve Wiltfong, and we're going to talk Georgia because the Dogs are closing in on a couple more big targets before signing day. But first, Steve, let's get the latest on number one quarterback Jared Curtis.
Pretty status quo from last week's update, Josh. We still await word of if Clark Lee is going to sign an extension at Vanderbilt. That is the big piece of information still out there in the Jared Curtis sweepstakes. If Clark Lee does extend with Vanderbilt, he will do so under the circumstances of believing that he will have the resources for Vanderbilt to compete for SEC titles and national titles. That's his vision for his alma mater. And Jared Curtis wants to play right away. That is the trump card that Vanderbilt has in this recruitment, is the opportunity, the better opportunity to play in year one with Diego Pavia, Heisman candidate, exhausting his eligibility after the season. With all of that being said, Jared Curtis and his family continue to reiterate to Georgia staffers, Georgia commits that they're good and that he will sign with the Bulldogs on December 3rd. But I believe if Clark Lee extends at Vanderbilt, it is truly game on in the recruitment for Jared Curtis. And I very much would lean towards him flipping to the Commodores if Clark Lee does extend with the local program.
So what are you hearing in terms of an extension? I mean, we only have a week until signing day. So is this something that could come before the weekend? Could it come on signing day where they announce the extension and the flip?
Well, that's more our colleague Pete Nakos, Chris Lowe and company's lane. I just, hearing from people around the Curtis camp last week, they didn't feel like anything was close to Coach Lee getting a deal done with Vanderbilt. We'll see what a new week brings. What another big win over the weekend, blowing out Kentucky and looking like a team that can really do some damage in the college football playoff this year does in the negotiation process of keeping Clark Lee in Nashville. Because, again, Clark Lee's at his alma mater. He loves it. He's left it obviously much better than where he found it, but he is a competitor that wants to win at the highest level. He wants to do, you see Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, the resurgence in Lubbock. He sees Vanderbilt as a program with the resources that they offer a student athlete as one that can compete at the highest level. But in modern college football, you need the support, you need the resources. So if he extends, it's not just about what they did for Clark Lee. It's what are they going to do with this for this football program, which then I also think resonates with Jared Curtis and his family.
All right. So what about from the Georgia side of things? What are your sources saying in terms of, one, his contact with the Georgia staff? Is there anything shaky going on there? And two, his contact, because he's been committed to the Dogs for a while, his contact with other recruits on that UGA list.
Yeah, Saturday night, Sunday morning, all good on the Curtis front as far as his communication and what he is saying to the Georgia staff and his fellow commits. So confidence around Georgia is that he'll sign, but everybody understands what recruiting is and takes nothing for granted.
Sure. All right. We'll just keep watching this Jared Curtis situation, but Dog fans, let us know how you guys feeling. Are you concerned at all? What do you think? Put it in the comment section below. Dogs added a flip target on Sunday to their commit list. Linebacker Elijah Littlejohn commits to Georgia. He was a Penn State commitment. They wanted to add another linebacker. They got him. They want to add a couple more players too. Who right now is Georgia trending for in the 2026 cycle?
Yeah, Rivals 300 offensive lineman Tyreek Jemison back in Athens for a second straight weekend. Georgia trending heavy for him and his commitment. And four-star safety Blake Stewart. Georgia is rising in his recruitment. Miami looked like the favorite when he decommitted from Clemson earlier this fall. He, too, has been to Georgia the last couple weekends. His family's very comfortable with the Bulldogs, their track record of development, particularly in the secondary proximity. Georgia checking a lot of boxes. Chad Simmons and I put a Rivals prediction machine forecast in favor of UGA coming into the weekend visit, but we both know Miami is not going to go away down the stretch. Vandy and Georgia Tech swinging as well.
All right. Well, if we weren't talking Jared Curtis at the beginning of this segment, we probably would have led with this. A major prediction. You dropped a big one on Sunday for number one running back, Kamon Spell, and it's not to the programs we originally thought, or I originally thought. Tell us about this pick for Georgia.
Well, when he decommitted from Penn State earlier this season, it was Notre Dame that had the momentum. His relationship with Coach Jaylon Sider, Notre Dame's style of play. Jeremiah Love is a Heisman candidate, the Doak Walker award-winning front runner for this season. And he had a great visit to Notre Dame shortly after for the USC game. But this visit to Georgia was a major needle mover. Athens, the program, what he saw, the intel is favoring the Bulldogs. A source said momentum is with UGA right now. So my prediction reflects that.
We're talking Oregon's big recruiting weekend as rival USC came to town and got beat down in Eugene. We're going to talk big recruiting weekend, but we got to start with somebody that was not on campus, and that's Chris Henry Jr., the five-star wide receiver from Mater Dei High School, has been locked into his commitment to Ohio State. But, Steve, we're a week from signing day. It sounds like there's some buzz there with Chris Henry Jr.
Yeah, with Chris Henry Jr.'s blend of size, speed, playmaking ability, he is one of the most sought-after prospects in this 2026 class, and Oregon is very much alive down the stretch for Chris Henry Jr. Now, he continues to have good dialogue with Ohio State, loves Coach Brian Hartline, the track record of receiver development, and not only how they get receivers drafted high, but how they have them ready to be impact players in the NFL right away. But his camp continues to have regular dialogue with Oregon. Oregon also checking a lot of boxes for Chris Henry Jr. down the stretch. And I was told anything can happen with Chris Henry's recruitment. I think Oregon made their pitch last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State still having good conversation with him. Oregon having good dialogue with him. And anything can happen. Nothing completely decided for Chris Henry Jr., who's been committed to Ohio State for a long time, but continues to keep the Ducks very warm at the end of his process.
Wow. And he had an injury in his junior year, but he has bounced back and had a monster senior season. So you can understand why. All right, so we're talking flips. We got to address athlete or wide receiver Jalen Lott, athlete Jalen Lott, I don't know, superstar Jalen Lott, five-star Oregon Duck commitment Jalen Lott. There was some talk about Texas. There's been some buzz about Miami. What are you hearing as we're a week out?
Let's talk game time. The college football season is in the final week of the regular season. Your team is making a push for the postseason, the college football playoff, and beyond. The NFL season is at the most pivotal point of its juncture. And you want to be there to see your favorite team live and in person. And it's even better when you go with a bunch of friends or family. Tickets are never easy to find, and getting deals on last-minute tickets can be very frustrating when all you want to do is be there for the moment your squad runs out on the field. Well, thankfully, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to you, the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clicks. The app is easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Over the weekend, one of my buddies took advantage of this Game Time deal I'm about to give you, buying tickets to go see his favorite comedian with his wife on Valentine's Day. The app is easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. You can even get NFL games as low as $100. And that's why I use the Game Time app. It's super simple, and it makes the experience of buying great seats a breeze. And one of the coolest features I've seen is the Game Time lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. So here's what we're going to do. If you haven't already, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code Wiltfong, WILTFONG, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's Wiltfong, WILTFONG, for $20 off Game Time's first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Well, him spending time in Eugene over the weekend, I think everybody that spent time with him feels good about him signing with Oregon in 9 days and being one of the jewels of this class. And receiver is a big position of emphasis for Oregon this cycle as they dealt with injury this year. They want to replenish that room with difference makers. They have Jalen Lott, Messiah Hampton committed in this class. They flipped the young man from Utah, and now they would like to add Chris Henry Jr. to the fold and put together a group of guys that can come in and push the likes of DeCorian Moore and be an electric offense for years to come.
Yeah, hey, we know Dan Lanning likes to make a splash on signing day. Chris Henry Jr. would absolutely be, but Ducks have a great class regardless. So let's get back to the weekend at hand. What is the latest intel coming out of Eugene?
Well, a lot of juniors were on campus, top 2027 recruits. Edge rusher Rashad Streets tells me that Oregon is his leader right now. I know that the Ducks are one of the front runners for the number 2 athlete in the country, Bodie Sparrow. Number 2 linebacker in America, Caden Henderson, had a fantastic visit. Oregon's going to be one of the lead contenders there. One of the biggest offers this weekend went to quarterback Will Menzel out of Chandler High in Arizona. He's having a terrific season, Josh, completing over 70% of his passes, of almost 3,500 yards, 33 touchdowns to only 4 picks. He's also rushed for 625 yards and 13 more scores. Oregon's going to be a team to watch for Will Stansel moving forward. They offered legacy recruit Sam Nagata. His dad was obviously a legend in Eugene. He'd been dreaming of getting this offer. Now he has it. You figure Oregon will be very tough to beat there. So the Ducks resonating with top 2027s. They have the number 3 class in 2026. They're going to obviously be in that equation for a top 5 class again in 2027. And I think they'll have a great chance to land a few of these guys that were in the stands inside Autzen Stadium for the big win over USC on Saturday.
All right, Oregon fans, talk with us. Who is going to be the Ducks' Naeem Offord moment this signing day? There's got to be somebody, right? Is it going to be Chris Henry Jr.? Will it be somebody else off the radar? Let us know. Comment section below. Let's talk some Oklahoma, Steve. The Sooners are in position to bring in some more talent before National Signing Day, and we got a potential full circle moment here. You didn't really see this before NIL became more prominent, but Rivals 300 running back Jonathan Hatton Jr. was previously committed to Oklahoma before flipping to Texas A&M, but by signing day, could things come full circle?
Yeah, I like where Oklahoma's trending as we record Monday morning. The buzz really picked up for the Sooners on Sunday, but we've been hearing some Oklahoma chatter for the last few weeks for Hatton, who at one point was committed to Oklahoma, reopened this process, jumped in with Texas A&M, and as he gets closer to his decision, while he still has a lot of love for the Aggies, Coach Elko, Coach Trooper Taylor, the opportunity to be the lead back in this class, KJ Edwards committed to Texas A&M, is an exciting opportunity. The way Oklahoma is playing this year, you got to go back to when he decommitted from the Sooners. There was a lot of rumors on the internet about Brent Venables being on the hot seat coming into the season. Well, the Sooners have slammed the door on that as they now are in position to have a home game in the college football playoff if they can take care of business against LSU on Saturday inside the Palace. So the excitement around Oklahoma's program, the relationship with DeMarco Murray, the opportunity to be the lead back in the class. Oklahoma is trending here. For a couple minutes on his Instagram this morning, Josh had said that he was committed to Oklahoma, but I do know that Trooper Taylor and the Aggies were on the phone with his family for hours last night, and we'll see if they can rally and keep him in the fold.
So you hit on it. Oklahoma having a great season, trending towards the playoffs. Are they going to be able to capitalize on this momentum on the recruiting trail as well before signing day?
Yeah, they're one of the teams that we're going to be following closely down the stretch. They're in on quite a few guys. Still like them to ultimately flip. Lone Star State safety Markel Ford out of Mesquite Horn. Sam Spiegelman and I predicted him to the Sooners going into his visit over the weekend, committed to SMU. Carmel High edge rusher Dane Bathurst out of Indianapolis area from by way of Florida. He is going to commit sometime in the very near future. Was at Oklahoma over the weekend. I think the Sooners are trending for Dane Bathurst. His mom from the same town, same high school as Brent Venables, one of the interesting connections there. But I like Oklahoma to get that one done. If they're on the gas for Cole Seaton, an offensive line commit to Baylor, he visited over the weekend. I think that they have a great shot to land him as well. He told me if Oklahoma offers, they are going to be a program that it will be hard for him to say no to. And then obviously they got a big upcoming recruiting weekend against LSU, where the Sooners will have a few more top targets on campus that they look to close going into the early signing period and National Signing Day.
Talk about Virginia Tech, because over the weekend, James Franklin made his debut. I mean, he was decked out in Virginia Tech colors, and he was on the sideline. He was everywhere. He was in the booth. He was shaking hands, kissing babies, and it sounds like it was a great weekend, a great recruiting weekend, despite the loss to Miami. I don't think that really mattered. He had some great players on campus. Steve, what's the buzz coming out of Blacksburg?
Well, Virginia Tech has rivals number 118th ranked recruiting class. As we talk right now, Josh, I wouldn't be surprised if we look up on December 3rd and they're in the top 40. They are in on a lot of key guys, mostly guys committed to Penn State or former Penn State commits. But I could see a lot of these guys, if not all of them, following James Franklin to Blacksburg. And he also has his recruiting army in place at Virginia Tech. Andy Frank already working in Virginia Tech. Brett Arnold, Aeneas Hawkins, Rashad Elby, Caleb Tyler, some of the guys that have come from Penn State to Virginia Tech to help James Franklin get this thing off and running. And the recruits on campus, they really felt the energy this weekend. New excitement around Virginia Tech that hasn't been felt there in a long time. And they are going to land their fair share, if not all the guys again that were on campus. Four-star quarterback Troy Hune thought they led for him coming into the visit. Still feel the same way. Rosa B. Lubinidis is an offensive lineman that told colleague Chad Simmons that Virginia Tech's going to be tough to turn down. I've already had him predicted to Virginia Tech. A couple new predictions I made this morning. Rivals four-star linebacker Matthew Lama, Pierce Peterson, a four-star tight end from Minnesota, and offensive lineman Benjamin Izuka from Michigan. Those are all guys that I think ultimately end up with Virginia Tech. Now, Lama is going to visit West Virginia next weekend. Peterson's looking at programs like Iowa State, but Virginia Tech feeling strong about the Hokies right now. Same with four-star offensive lineman Thomas Wilder, who at one point was committed to Virginia Tech. Hearing good things about where Coach Franklin and company stand there. Maddox Cochran is a former Wisconsin commit from in-state that I like where Virginia Tech stands and has predicted for him to land. And then three more I'm keeping a close eye on, guys that are committed to Penn State. Rivals 300 offensive lineman Marlon Bright, four-star safety Matt Sigg, and four-star running back Messiah Mickens. Now, Matt Sigg coming down to maybe Oklahoma and Indiana. Notre Dame's also involved, but there's some confidence around Virginia Tech that he'll end up with the Hokies. Mickens is currently trending Oklahoma, but I would not be surprised if that doesn't flip to Virginia Tech in the coming days.
Wow. And then we think that they're going to also land Troy Hune, who has been decommitted from Penn State for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we led, man. He's a guy that really believes in Coach Franklin because Coach Franklin believes in him. He was committed to him at Penn State early, likes Coach Franklin's quarterback background, the toughness and culture within his program, and the level that he's always competed at Vanderbilt and Penn State. He thinks that James Franklin's the coach that can get the best out of him. And Stanford's involved.
But Virginia Tech is the program that is really trending for him.
Wow. Sounds like it was a great weekend, exceeded expectations for some, and James Franklin just getting started. So Virginia Tech fans,
Hit like and subscribe because we're going to be talking a lot about the Hokies.
Yeah, we are in the business of talking Hokie recruiting now, so jump on board, hit subscribe. Also, let us know if you were at the game. Did you get to meet James Franklin? What did you think of him on the sidelines? Hopefully for a long time. Talk to us, comment section below.